Data migration is complete. System integration is flawless. The final sign-off locks perfectly into place, and executives declare the enterprise rollout a complete success. But this celebration relies on a dangerous operational fallacy, the assumption that technical platform readiness automatically equals immediate business value and user adoption. This chart exposes the reality. On the left, executive dashboards light up green with technical milestones, but post-cutover, operational performance sharply degrades. This plunging trend line represents immediate workforce stagnation as teams bypass workflows and create unauthorized workarounds. This precipitous drop stems from a highly specific misalignment known as the human-system friction gap. It is the deep operational divide that exists between a software platform's logical capabilities and the day-to-day realities of human execution on the floor. A perfectly architected system with zero end-user adoption still yields zero return on investment. Technical completeness is an illusion if behavioral alignment is missing. Modern enterprise software operates strictly on deterministic logical workflows. A data input triggers a specific, unyielding procedural output. Human execution operates differently. A workforce relies on established routines, deeply ingrained habits, and the psychological safety of knowing exactly how to complete a daily task. When rigid modern workflows collide with these legacy habits, without structured enablement to bridge the difference, the immediate result is severe operational friction. When executives observe this friction, they frequently misclassify it. Post-launch user resistance is rarely an act of intentional defiance. Instead, it is a highly predictable, systemic reaction to environmental misalignments that management simply failed to engineer for. To stop the erosion of platform value, leadership must diagnose the exact operational triggers on the floor. There are three core drivers of friction. The first is cognitive overload. Modern cloud platforms introduce massive feature sets and incredibly dense interface navigation. Operational staff are expected to master these high-density interfaces simultaneously while maintaining their daily high-volume output. This competing demand creates immediate cognitive fatigue. As cognitive fatigue sets in, it leads directly to a spike in procedural errors across the enterprise. The second driver is the loss of local autonomy. Legacy systems usually permit informal shortcuts. Modern enterprise software removes those workarounds, enforcing rigid standard operating procedures. Without clear contextual translation, staff perceive standardized workflows as bureaucratic friction. The final driver is microprocess disconnects. Integrators configure platforms based entirely on high-level process maps, which rarely reflect the complex reality of the operational floor. As a result, the granular microtasks and exceptions are completely omitted from generic vendor scripts. Ignoring these three drivers strands users without the tools to do their actual jobs. Workflow stagnation is a predictable systemic outcome when microtasks are ignored. Transformation directors cannot wait for quarterly reviews to identify these issues. They must actively monitor lagging operational metrics during the immediate post-go-live window. The presence of three specific early warning indicators signals that a friction gap is rapidly accelerating on the floor. Indicator 1 is shadow IT proliferation. Departmental teams quietly create unauthorized Excel workarounds or localized tracking sheets to bypass complex system inputs and maintain their legacy habits. Indicator 2 is Helpdesk ticket inflation. A critical threshold is crossed when over 60% of post-launch IT support tickets are simple how-to navigation queries rather than actual bugs. Indicator 3 is data quality degradation. This is the floor reality where users leave key operational fields blank, populate them with placeholder text, or deliberately enter inaccurate data to expedite task closure. These metrics demonstrate that the breakdown occurs in the enablement strategy, proving that the friction originates with the rollout methodology rather than the software itself. Resolving deep operational friction requires moving away from generic change management town halls. Broad motivational messaging is completely insufficient here. The required solution is deploying targeted, structural intervention across the enterprise using the BTI Behavioral Alignment Framework. Pillar 1 is role-based contextual training. Leadership must replace generic vendor walkthroughs with highly specific task scenarios strictly required for their daily scope. Pillar 2 is embedded practitioner support. Organizations deploy trained internal practitioners directly onto the operational floors during the launch windows. Embedding this localized support allows teams to triage microfriction in real time, catching procedural confusion before it mathematically overwhelms centralized IT support channels. Pillar 3 is behavioral KPI integration. System adoption must be measured as a core operational responsibility. This requires aligning individual performance metrics directly with correct platform usage, removing the option to simply opt out. The final pillar is continuous micro-feedback loops. Establishing weekly operational feedback channels between frontline associates and departmental practitioners allows the enterprise to iteratively refine system configuration and fix microprocess disconnects. Ultimately, an enterprise software transformation succeeds or fails strictly at the point of user execution. Protecting rec capital investment requires applying the exact same active governance to human behavior as the organization applies to its technical architecture. By identifying the root causes of friction and applying structured, role-based enablement, organizations eliminate operational stagnation and produce stabilized workflows. Aligning human behavior with technical architecture secures the operational efficiency required to realize the intended return on investment from an enterprise technology deployment.